Hello, and welcome to our weekly astrological transits. So this week, starting March 18th, we start on Tuesday because that's when I record it. I want to show you something really interesting. Before I get into that, though, we see the little bit of a pile up here coming in from Pisces into Aries. And I want you to, we're going to look at Mercury retrograde. We know that it just turned retrograde. And I'd like for you to think about this um, think about the, um, uh, like the sun being the owner walking its dog Mercury. Okay, just hang with me a second on this analogy. So the dog trots off in front of the owner, right? And it's going to go to the end of its leash. It's on a leash. Okay. So it trots off and it goes to the end of its leash. And then when it hits the end of its leash in front, it turns retrograde and then it starts coming back. Well, then it gets interested in something and the owner walks past it and then it goes and then it reaches the end of that retrograde and it turns forward and starts to run past run up and catch the owner and then it goes past and it'll go all the way past and it'll go past the owner again and then it'll reach the end of its leash and that will be at next retrograde. So what I want you to do is just keep your eye on this relationship here of the sun and Mercury. Okay. I'm going to just try to step through it for a little bit. I'll comment a little bit, but just watch that. I mean, it might flip around, into a couple other houses, but I'm going to just move this and just want you to see this. It's really interesting how this works. So keep your eyes on that. That now see, Eric passed it going backwards, right? Did you see that? Just okay, because it was just turned retrograde. See, and now it's coming back, and so it's gaining speed, right? So that's that there. It's in front of the sun, 5 degrees. Sun is at 3. Okay, so retrograde. It's retrograding. Okay, now it's even with the sun. This was on the March 24th. So we see they're together, and you keep seeing Mercury retrograding. It's coming back. See, it's now 2 degrees. See how it's going away from the sun? It's 1 degree. And then now it moves into Pisces. See, the sun is it's separating from the sun. And Mercury is still retrograding, goes back into Pisces. It's over here now. Keep watching. And we're going to wait for see how far it goes. There it is. It's on April 6th. It goes direct, right? And on my birthday, yay, 26 degrees Pisces. So see, it's stationary. It's going to turn direct. It's as far as it can go the other side of the sun, right? Behind the sun, or however say it. I won't confuse you with that. Just think about it this way for a moment. Now let's just keep watching. Okay, because now it's going to start coming back. You'll see it getting at higher degrees, getting closer to the sun. See, 27, 28, 29. It goes right back into Aries. Okay, it's moving in now. It's moving fast in Aries. Okay, watch it's going to start catching up. Look at it. It's gaining, it's forward momentum, right? It's over here now. It just flipped a little bit. Keep watching. Okay, they're into Taurus. It's catching up to the sun. Look at how fast it's moving. Like 2 degrees a day. Oh, it's almost there. Look at 23, 25. Right there. It's even. Oop, sorry. Almost there. Sorry, got sidetracked. There it goes. Past it. 17. Now it's past it. See, it's going past the sun. 5, right to 7. It's like going way past the sun. Now keep watching. 19. Look how fast it's moving. Okay, it's starting to slow down a little bit. Keep watching. I know I'm trying to watch a couple other things for you. So it's still going. Okay, it's in Leo. It's still ahead of the sun. Now we can expect, let's see, this is July. We can expect it coming into another retrograde season. So here it's starting to slow down. Look at 15, 16, 15 still. There it is. Okay. Oh, I missed it right there. 15. Yeah, slow down there. So it can only it get the end of its leash over here, right? So and it's always going to be what did we say, like 20 not quite 30 degrees, 20 some degrees. So here we have So 15, 17, 18. So here's 19. It's starting to go away from the sun here. All right. And then let's keep going. We'll see it was, and it's starting to come back. See, it's retrograding. Keep watching. And that's going to get Kazini with the sun again. Look at, right there, it passed it, right there. See, it goes fast. It'll just go right past it. So the end of July, it's going past the sun, going backwards, or, retrograding. So it's retrograde here, and starting it was in July, and then now here it's direct, but coming back toward the sun. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, right? Look at it, it's going toward the sun now, getting closer. Gonna get to the next one. It's gonna go in front of the sun. There it goes in front of the sun, goes past the owner, going to the end of its leash, the third retrograde period this year. Keep going, keep going, keep watching it. It's like we're now in November. See, there it is, retrograde. Did I miss it? There, stationary. We're at November 9th. It's turning direct, and it's all the way this side of the sun. So that is how I just to see that. Sometimes you just have to I don't know, it's just interesting to just be shown that. I'm just going to go back to today, but I wanted you to see that because it's really interesting to see something like that on a larger scale. How the planet can move and it's in its orbit. We're just looking at it two-dimensionally. This is kind of putting it, like I said, like on a leash, but it's, of course, this is three-dimensional motion that we're compressing so we can see it on a screen. But anyway, I think it's cool to see that. All right, getting back to today, that was our little field trip, field trip of the sign, of retrograde motion. And then Venus does that. All the planets do that around the sun, and then they have their own motions together, within their own cycles. So we have several cycles. I wanted you to see that because we're coming into a lot of new cycles, everything from the 13,000 year cycle coming into that, the change of the Kali Yuga to a changing of, all the signs, the outer planets, everything is going to change. So let's get into it. So right now, coming into, starting today, we have our moon in Scorpio. So this week, our moon in Scorpio, we start out intense. Maybe we've been doing investigation, deep dives, analyzing, looking at things closely, scrutinizing, interrogating, um, terrorizing, scorpionic things, peeling sunburn, popping zits, the Scorpio stuff. Anyway, sorry. And then we move into fun Sag. When the moon is in Sag, it brings more liveliness. I love that time. Outward, expansion, growth, higher education, looking into astrology, higher learning, the truth. Then we get serious and buckle down. And when moon goes into Capricorn, we might get focused on something. We might set boundaries and barriers and get some structure into something, and then ditch that structure, get a little rebellious and avant-garde as the moon rounds the corner into Aquarius. So that's kind of like this week's theme, but on a mental, emotional, or emotional, mental, or however you want to say it, level. So that's the overtone, one overtone. And we're coming into several things. We see these endings right here. And then we know that there's this period of change of guard. So let's look at how it rolls because it's really kind of cool. Um, so yesterday we had the Sun and North Node conjunct. So Sun, is going, let's just go back so we can see it going over it. So Sun is going over North Node in Pisces. So it's moving toward that, with the North Node in Pisces right now. It's dissolving. It's bringing imagination, new thoughts. It's definitely expanding. But it's at that degree, and remember the nodes are moving the other way of the planet. So this is moving, into the higher degrees of Pisces toward Aquarius. So, they'll go this way. So we're into the North Node is where we're all moving into. And, as these move around, we have the one we're natally born with, but then we have to integrate where they're at now. So we're into feeling more and having more compassion and being more sweet. That's the good side of Pisces, but not getting lazy and easily fooled. But then on the other side, we always got to think of the polarities, the South Node in Virgo. So it's about, getting rid of, it's always the getting rid of side, maybe being hypercritical, being not trusting, being uh, micromanaging, getting rid of that kind of stuff and becoming more loving. So that's the kind of that polarity. So the sun going over that, maybe that's opening up, it's like to how can I be more loving? What is this, especially if you have anything at those degrees, it'll resonate more. But that might be something really good to ask because right after that, the sun then, get ready to conjunct Neptune for the last time in Pisces. I don't think, yeah, no, next year, I believe Neptune will, when it goes, I mean, when the sun is in Pisces, I think Neptune will be well into Aries. So this is the last time. So this is kind of, a final thing. Let's just actually look. Make sure I'm right. Let's go look a year ahead and just see where Neptune is. See, yeah, Neptune, like, look at the sun is going to go over it next year and it's already in Aries at 1 degree. So this is the last time. I mean, not ever, but for the next however long that orbit is, what, 160 some years or something like that. All right, so that's interesting. So it's a certain type of naivety, a certain type of imagination, a certain type of feel, with Neptune at the end of its sign there. It's um, place where it likes to be, its home place, that we assigned it, Pisces, in the ocean, but it's also um, here it's at an anaretic degree, a critical degree. And this is, the maybe the disturbing parts of the sea, the law of the sea, the underworld kind of energy of the sea that we're going to maybe bring more light to. So the sun's last time here, let's just watch that. There it is on the 19th, they conjunct. So this is really good energy. I think this, it's like more compassionate the day before, and then he continues with that, with what would that bring? What if we had that, heal the world, heal the world kind of energy. Try to think of all the songs that bring unity together, to people in humanity, and maybe just put it out, all the songs that you can think, and I'm not into that at the moment, other than that one, but there's a lot that we can um, um, put in and play and and hear and put out to just bring that vibe in. So then the sun goes over Neptune, boop, and it goes into Aries. Okay, so several things here. Sun now into Aries, and this is starting to move forward. And then we're going to have Neptune right at the very end, preparing to walk into Aries as well. And interesting, while this is happening, we're going to go ahead and just watch a couple other things because it all goes in at once. I mean, it all sort of, I'm going to try to micro it down for you. But then it's going to go really fast. This next few weeks are going to be really interesting. So right here, we have the sun moving into Aries on the Thursday. So we move into the first day of the equinox, the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere. So sun moves here. At first it kisses Neptune, and then it moves into Aries, and then it's going to line up with you're going to see that it's going to meet up with Venus. Now, Venus is retrograde, so it's going to be moving fast in this anti-direction. The sun is going to be, of course, in sunwise direction. But then keep an eye on Mercury because Venus and Mercury are like parallel dancing right now. They were doing this dance, oh, what, 2022 when they were conjunct in Capricorn. So it was all about authority and coming up against authority. Now it's into braving ahead kind of energy, but this is really, really cool. So sun here, um, move into the 21st on Friday. I'll come back to a few more things, but see now we have these gaps tightening. Now look, it's 1 degree, here's Sun and Venus at 3 degrees, but they're both moving toward each other. So you got it at 2 degrees on March 22nd. 3, 2, 2, two planets at 2, 2. Now this is interesting. And then Saturn is at 23. I don't know, there's just some interesting numbers. Um, Pluto's at 3. So lots of twos and threes for those numerology people out there. On March 22nd, 322. Just an interesting date. Anyway, so Venus here conjunct the Sun. Now, wow, I'm just trying to unpack this. There's a lot here. You get into astrobabble. I'm trying to make it understandable. So whenever planets are together, they fuse the energy together. It's in the heart of the sun. It's burnt up by the sun. You can't see Venus in the sky because it's too close to the sun. You probably can't Mercury there either. It's way too close. It's 4 degrees away from the sun. So they're retrograde. And I think they realize, Venus is wants, needs, desires, what you like, your money. Mercury is information, communications, and they're now exposed to this light, right? They're into this Aries, this newness, and then here's the sun lighting them up. Okay, so I think that they're coming at the spotlight, and I think that they're going to do like a quick duck out of the way for a little bit. Because this is really interesting. They're going to duck out of the way, going to go confuse everything and go into the sun. And then they're going to come out on the other side into Pisces. At the same time, Neptune is going to go, the other side, or it just did, and then pop out into, or it just did, but it's going to pop out into Aries. So just follow me with this second here. Okay, so here's Venus, on Sunday, on the 23rd, going past the sun. Okay, they passed. And then now we have Mercury in the heart of the sun on Monday, right there, Cazimi. See it, 4 degrees, 4 degrees. So like one and the other, look at how close they are together there. One following that. And now here's Venus, almost. Keep your eye over there. Venus now goes back into Pisces. And as she does, she goes over Neptune. Remember, Venus is exalted in Pisces, loves to be here. So this is like, she gets to just dip back into, it's like, I get to go home for a minute before I go this trek, this long trek around. She gets to go home into Taurus, but I mean, she gets into her exalted home one more time. Um, yeah, so over there, so now we got on the 27th here, maybe some new imaginings. Okay, so Venus is maybe going to do last little blessings to Neptune before Neptune moves into Aries. So that's the last little contact, and then of Neptune there before Neptune moves on. So I think it's kind of like a blessing. It's Venus is moving where she likes. She's kind of going, yes, you can do this. I know you haven't been there. It's fine. Go ahead. I'll be over behind you. Don't worry. And then Mercury's like, I got your, I got your. One of us has got your 6 o'clock. I don't know. We're both all going backwards, forwards, so whatever. So look at how the sandwich of Neptune is accompanying it into the new sign. And then the moon is there. Look at that. Moon is going over, blessing them all, bringing this Piscean energy, just sweeping out a lot of the stuff. And if we can look, I mean, no matter what side of the political fence you are, there is huge sweeping change in the United States government. Huge, getting rid of a lot of stuff, a lot of bad crap that's not needed. It just looks fierce. As things dissolve, it gets crazy. It's like, oh no, we've been used to, a lot of mutable stuff is dissolving. That is the nature of this. And, the moon is here, so that could be adding to a lot of emotional wallowing here. But what happens is moon moves into Aries, sun, conjuncts the sun. We have the new moon, goes over Mercury. Mercury is going to go. Now, see, look at Venus is already now passed, and Venus is on her way over. It's got to go touch tag over to the North Node, and then over to Saturn. Okay, let's look. And then there's on the 30th, there we go. Neptune moves into Aries and Mercury moves into Pisces. So it's like kind of right there. See how, look at all these things. Okay, so it's right there. These two kind of switch positions. Boom, there they go. And now it's like, boof, the birth of one, and then these two now get a little retreat. Look at, they're like ducking out. They just kind of did a little switcheroo back into Pisces a little bit while we're getting used to this energy. Yeah, so God doesn't leave, the door is open without leaving a window, doesn't close all the doors without leaving a window open kind of thing. So that's how I think that is. But let's look ahead a little bit. Okay, so 31st, it's officially there. Um, Mercury and Venus, look at Mercury there, it's almost caught up. It's not quite. And look at Venus now, April 3rd, goes over the North Node. So blessing that North Node again, then Mercury close on its heels. Just watch this little dance. Okay, so now look at this lineup here. This is April 5th to April 6th. How cool is this? Look at um, Sun at 16, and then Neptune at 0, and then we have a 26, a 26, a 25, and a 25. This is all really tight lineup at this last little bit of Pisces, going over back and forth over the restructuring where we're going, doing it from the heart, and communicating it and putting structure and order in. This is pretty phenomenal. All right, there we go now. 26, 25. Okay, Venus goes over Saturn on the April 6th and 7th, restructuring, putting order in. Look at that. And Mercury just went direct. See right there, right at the North Node's door. Brought it the message, brought it the information, right at the door. Boom, turns around, goes, yep, I can't stay, North Node. I got work to do. Starts heading the other way. Venus now got a little bit more work to do. And she goes to 24, turns around, comes back over to North Node. A little bit more work to do. There, boop, over it. A little bit more over Saturn. It's like, hey, I told you one more time, and then going blessing over Neptune in Aries, and now I'm just bringing you through May 2nd. But see, this is all tied in. You can just see all this dance here, and we're just, that's what we're going through this week. We're starting into that whole dance of those planets, all just finishing up in that area, and then here's Saturn. Let's just go a little more. Watch Saturn right here. Saturn's entry into, let's look at it. It's ingress into Aries. 29, and we're in May, almost the beginning of June. Oh, there we go. I'm looking at okay, so May 24th, we're right at the end. So May 25th, 5/25/25. Oh, look at that. I mean, astrology if it's not degrees by the actual planets, it's like sometimes the time, it's just phenomenal. It just makes me just like, wow. 5/25/2025. Saturn moves into Aries, 0/0 Aries. Wow. I think I'll end on that note. This is pretty amazing. So there we go. That's ingress is just boom right there. And it gets real close to Neptune, but it doesn't catch up with it yet. It will go retrograde, and it won't catch up and actually conjunct Neptune till next year. So we're going to get a taste of this, and then they will duck back into Pisces. And it'll be interesting. We'll see what Venus and Mercury are doing with that. So this is a lot for today. This is a lot of things. We've got, again, on Wednesday, starting tomorrow, the Sun conjunct Neptune. Then we got the Sun moving into Aries. And then we have Venus conjuncting Neptune. I mean, not sorry, conjuncting, sextiling Neptune. So we have Venus making a little conversation with I'm sorry, scratch that, said that wrong. Venus sextiling Pluto. Gotta have Neptune on the brain. Venus sextiling Pluto on Friday. This Friday, actually, let me just go get that. Go back. Okay. Oh, did I have it right there? Almost. There we go. Okay. So here, Venus and Pluto. So I didn't want to mention that one because that's very interesting. Venus is going here at that degree with Pluto. And that's a good conversation. See, I think Venus, even in Aries, it's almost like, it's like here in Aries and in Pisces, it's like, she can get it done. It's like this is a little bit more curt, but it's a little bit more forthright. It's a little bit more direct, when it's in Aries. It's like, look, I don't mean to be a jerk, but I've asked you to blah, blah, blah. It's just a little bit more direct. It takes on a little bit more sweeter tone when it goes into Pisces. But nonetheless, it's good conversation with these outer planets ushering them into this new realm, this new time. So I really feel, that's important as we do this on a planet, planetarily, because we're constantly coming up against people, things, situations that just, don't always like it, don't go our way. And we just have to find a pleasant way around it or through it. So anyway, that's a really nice one coming up. So Friday, we have that. And then we have Moon again moving into Capricorn on Saturday. Where's that down here? There's Moon Capricorn. And then here's the Sun conjuncting Venus there at Cassini, right there in the heart of the Sun on Saturday. And then on Sunday, the Sun makes that sextile to Pluto. So we got a lot of repeating things because we have stuff right next to each other, right? We got one planet and another. So it's going to be one and then the other. So this Venus and then the Sun. So here, this one might be just a little bit more testy. Venus is nicer, but the Sun is the Sun. And in Aries, it doesn't have to be polite to anything. So this is going to kind of be an interesting answer, interesting conversation about this type of energy. Could be about power, shift of power, transfer of power. I still think a lot of this we're seeing in many ways is like eating crow. A lot of people, things, situations are going to have to admit they're wrong, and how to gracefully admit you're wrong, or like, God, I didn't know. You know, um, yeah, being humble, humility, kind of. Is that it? Then Moon moves into Aquarius. And then the moon conjuncts Pluto when it moves into Aquarius. It's like, look, we got all of this, we got this Neptune, Neptune, Neptune now, and we still got a lot of Pluto, Pluto, Pluto. We got a lot, both of these outer planets kind of hammering us with the inner. The inner and the outer are integrating. We have the outer planets, those two I've been talking about, and then all this inner planet integration. So this again is a big deal. Can look at the world and society. We're integrating a lot of new things and tearing down a lot of old things and getting rid of a lot of corruption and putting a lot of new things in place. This is very, very exciting. So we have this dance, with the outer and the inner integrating. And then on Monday, we'll have the sun, right there. With the communicative Mercury, in Aries, right there, right in the beginning, 4 degrees. It's going to be talking, it's going to be bringing, expressing, it's going to be direct, it's going to be energetic, it's going to be focused, it's going to be laser, it's going to be hot, it's going to be hyper, it's going to be driven. All of this energy is going to start. All of those adjectives are just going to be continuing, and used to it. Right now as it's ushered in, all of that is in harmonious action here with the moon and Pluto, with this air sign, they're in air signs, and it's sextile. So very, very interesting dynamics. There's a lot of stuff getting along, and a lot of people that maybe can't see this big picture. It's going to be like they're going to be moved by the flock. This is just going to keep moving in this direction. So these planets are changing. These outer expressions are, again, they're getting more masculine, more direct. Look at Pluto, and then here we're ushering all this inward energy to more outward energy. And then here we got the ushering of them in front, the little entourage here. Yeah, and then coming next week, we have, um, these two getting closer together. Okay, and then we'll have the moon moving coming into next week. The moon then moves over into Pisces, and then Venus will move into Pisces. So we've got this little burst into Aries, and then we're coming into the time next week, a couple things slipping back into Pisces. Look at here, like by the time next week, it's like here, and then what is this? Thursday of next week, Venus is back, right? And then, like we said, Mercury's about to come back, and Neptune's about to go the other way. So this is a dynamic change here, right here, right where we're in. So mark things down. What's going on in you, in your life, in the world? Very exciting. Okay, I know I kept this a lot today, but I wanted you to see those retrograde, how that retrograde motion moved, and I think it's important to understand that these are just cycles, cycles that repeat, and it's interesting to look at when they occurred and what was happening, and to see that they're happening again. All right, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.